Hey everybody, this is Rhino and we're back to Broken Sword 5. Let's continue. So, we're in this area. We need to look at the scooter and then fix the shredder, and then I kind of feel like I'm going to get trapped in this room.
It was a pizza delivery scooter.
Wow. So this is the scooter probably used in the murder, and all he wants to do is look at it. It's very odd. Like, I understand the mess. I understand the box just being unimportant things to look at. But this is hard evidence towards the crime that he's investigating. And he doesn't interact with it or do anything. That's very crazy. So we got the oily Q-tip. We'll stick it with the gears.
I smeared the gears with oil.
Notice here that the gears are not oily. They didn't change the animation. That's lazy from either an actual perspective of effort or lazy from budget. And I can't really say it's that lazy from budget because we have the unique perspective, since this is a Kickstarter game, to know that this was a $1.3 million production thereabout. So, at that range, somebody could have put some oil on these things. Well, now we shredded the paper.
It was time to see what was in the letter.
So we've completely shredded the paper. Rearrange the pieces to interact with the piece, pick it up. You can then move the piece to a different location. Simply move the piece to a new location and drop it. So thanks for... And then the system doesn't actually work that way, does it? Not exactly. Apparently we're gonna have to do a little bit more work on that than I would like. It seems really strange to have to shred something first and then after that point de-shred it. However, the game has been unrealistically kind here by moving the the pieces and shredding the pieces only in ridiculously large chunks. If you had a shredder that did just this much, you would have, well, a useless device. This piece in particular doesn't seem to make much sense. And you have to get right in the center of these things, and the locking on seems to be really off. This game also, as many games do, didn't handle Windows at a higher DPI. By default, I use a high DPI, which even Windows themselves recommends you not do. But a significant portion of games will ignore that. This one did not, and had trouble in windowed mode because of that. I bring that up specifically because it feels like that's what this might be having an issue with. Why these things don't seem to lock in, but more feels like these items will simply lock in only when they are in the right place. But there's also going to be some holes here, and it would be helpful to not lose this logo, but that's exactly what I have done, as I've lost it behind it being off the screen here. I can't complain too much about this this puzzle. It seems like some very standard fare you'd have in a game. Let's see. So that's right. Let's start matching the letters. I haven't been doing that. I've been looking at the pictures. That doesn't seem to line up. This honestly doesn't seem to work very well at all. I feel like there might be pieces missing, or extra pieces. Right. Well, this piece of paper is going to be particularly small here. And sadly, what this is going to give me is a bunch of text that either George is going to read out loud or surmise, or I'm going to have to read it myself, and then I'm not going to be too happy about that. There we go. Now we're making some progress. So we are having that issue. No rotating of pieces, which makes the puzzle actually rather too easy. A piece of paper doesn't even matter. See, if that locks there, and this all locks here, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, maybe I just need to move everything like this, I guess. And then see, that's out of the picture again. This is really feels badly programmed. Really badly programmed. I hate to say that, but it gets back to this thought: some old programmers just can't program programs anymore. They can't make PC games. And I feel like Revolution Software is kind of proving itself to be one of those companies. Like, and I'd hate to be somebody who would promote the idea of companies going out of business.
A letter from Henri confirming that Vera Security had the contract for the exhibition. And it also revealed who was in charge at Vera. A guy called Medovsky. At first glance, it all seemed pretty run-of-the-mill. But why was Henri thanking Medovsky for being generous? And why was he pleased to represent him? Maybe Medovsky was the owner we'd been looking for. It didn't add up. I had a gut feeling. There was something fishy going on.
Was Medovsky the artist?
I pocketed the letter and paperclip.
So we get a paperclip. Too. There was a paperclip in the shredder. That wouldn't end well. So, yeah, I'm not happy about having to even say this out loud, but
There was
maybe
definitely something in there.
Revolution Software should have gone out of business and just sold the rights. Or maybe they should have stayed in business and just licensed the rights to make more Broken Sword. I mean, they had already kind of licensed the rights, and that got us Broken Sword 3 or 4, so that didn't really work.
Now, what are you...
I'm not sure what you could do
would you
here.
believe it? It was a gun. And very likely the one that had been used to shoot Henri.
It's very quick to...
Aha! So, what have we here? L'Américain, Monsieur Stobart.
You better start using that
You
gun.
will rue the day you crossed my path.
Oh,
because now
nope, don't
you
shoot
are
the
caught
police.
in my net like a little red herring.
Inspector,
he is a
I'm
red herring.
investigating the robbery.
No, monsieur. You are breaking and entering an innocent storeroom.
I found the murder weapon.
Found? No. Planted? Yes. Move. Arrest this man and take him to
Still
the station.
can't get past
I
this.
shall squeeze you,
this
Monsieur
nose.
Stobart,
Look at
until
Moo's
your
nose.
lips squeak.
It's a little bit better. Next morning at Nico's apartment. So are we gonna play as Nico now?
Thanks, Ronnie. I just wish I'd got some better shots of the killer.
Are you kidding?
Did she move?
Very dramatic.
This isn't her street.
You did good, Nico.
It looks close to it.
So, what's next?
Get me an interview with the owner, and you've got Sunday's front page.
I'm on it already.
Keep me up to speed.
Hmm.
Let me know before you write anything up, okay?
Of course. Oh, gotta go. Someone at the door.
She redecorated, but it's out. She didn't move.
Monsieur?
Are you Nicole Collard?
Yes, can I help you?
I need to sit down.
You'd better come in.
An old guy. You don't get the severely old people in games that often. So before we do anything else, let's take she didn't move, but they reanimated her front street, and they didn't do just a trace job, which honestly they should have. They've changed how her apartment is decorated. There was a wall here with pictures on it and such, and no computer. Here's a camera. Here's the wooden chest that they added in the remastered version of Broken Sword 1, I believe, that had a secret in
It
it.
was full of paperwork.
Hmm.
The bin was full.
Hmm.
It was my computer.
She's got actually a rather low to the ground but nice large screen. Although, just on the perspective, if she was to sit on what is effectively just a footstool here, her legs still wouldn't manage to fit under that computer table. In a funny way, because Broken Sword, previous Broken Sword games had a picture of George. Notice how she's standing on one side with her hand on the hip here, because she's animating better than George does, who just stands there most of the time, at least from what I've been able to recognize. But because she's taken away the pictures of George, that kind of shows this idea that she's broken up with him, and they never really even got together. This is such a star-crossed lovers,
Would you like a glass of wine?
although not even lovers. It's like a failed romance story is what it is. Like,
Yes, those stairs are a nightmare.
it's a failure to launch as far as a romance goes. Just the subtlest of hints that there could be a romance and nothing
better.
more.
So, what can I do for you, monsieur?
My name is Tiago Marquez. I saw your report on the robbery. I found your address. I came straight away. I needed to see you.
And why is that?
The stolen painting, La Malédiction. It belongs to me.
Ronnie had wanted me to interview the owner, and now here he was. Or rather, he was somebody who claimed to be the owner.
Interesting. I can't pick up the photos now. So I guess I'll start by showing her the press card with the chewing gum.
I
Showing
had no
him.
reason to show Marquez my press card. He already knew who I was. So the stolen painting is yours. Tell me more.
La Malédiction belonged to my family in Catalonia in the 30s, before the Civil War.
So what was it doing here in Paris?
The fascists stole it in 1938. They killed my father, but not me. I escaped. I have been looking for it ever since. You have to help me find it.
Oh, so he's that little kid we saw in the flashback.
Tell me about yourself.
I am Tiago Marquez, the rightful owner of La Malédiction. What else is there to tell?
You traveled all the way from Catalonia?
No, since the war, I've lived in France, in the southwest. And now I want the painting back.
Now, it might be interesting if we find out that the malediction has some magical powers or leads to something with magical powers that can renew people and make him young again. That might be what they're setting up here, having him really old. Otherwise, it's just a simple solution for the fact that they wanted to set it up as it was stolen in the 30s. Although, if there isn't more to that story later down the line in this game, there will be no reason that they actually needed to show that cutscene at all, because almost all paintings have been stolen and killed over, if they're worth anything. Well, maybe not killed over, but they've been stolen and changed hands many times through history.
Did you lose all your family in the Civil War?
When they came for us in 38, I fled with my mother. But my father was not so lucky.
I'm sorry.
I would have stayed and fought for freedom, but I was just a boy.
You've got my attention, but if I'm to help you, I need more to go on.
I have something. This old photograph. It is of me and my family. See the painting above the fireplace?
Yes, it's La Malédiction. The photographs certainly appear to link the old man to the painting.
Look at that fireplace. That's fancy.
You took the photographs of that robbery, huh?
I did, yes.
I need to see them.
Why?
Please, I must see them.
All right. Here they are.
So he might come back and say that the painting has changed since it used to be. So the old man wants to see him, but then it puts us in a cutscene. That's George, Henry, and the thief.
This one was rejected. Georges got in the way. Typical.
Who is this George?
Just a friend. He insured the painting.
So, he will know who is this liar who claims to own my painting.
I don't think he does. He would have told me. This is the best shot I took. They used it in the paper.
Yes, it is how I recognize La Malédiction, my painting.
It does look like the one in your photograph.
So close, but now it is lost again.
And we've got this tattoo that hopefully would give us a clue.
Here's the thief making off with the painting.
What is that tattoo on his arm?
Looks like a skull and crossbones. Headhunters,
You will find him, and then you will find my painting.
I can try, monsieur.
You must, mademoiselle.
He's certainly not offering any reward or anything for her helping him.
This shot didn't come out too well.
It's perfect.
Perfect?
Finally, La Malédiction in all its splendor. The lines, the color, the detail. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Then take it. That shot is no good to me.
Really? Thank you, mademoiselle.
So, it almost feels like maybe him taking a photo should have revealed another photo below here and then given us a wrap-up here. It kind of feels like I could click on all of these again. Let's see what happens here.
That tattoo is really quite distinctive.
Yes, but that is all there is to go on.
So you are certain that this is the same painting?
Of course, I do not make mistakes.
So you get probably 2, maybe even 3 responses per picture.
In front of Georges is Henri, the gallery owner. So you are certain that this is the same painting?
Of course, I do not make mistakes.
So yeah, 2 responses
That is really quite distinctive.
for each of them.
Yes.
And then
Marquez's story was very interesting, but I needed to corroborate it. I wondered if the gallery kept ownership records.
so I'm
And
gonna
while
leave.
I didn't wholly trust him, this was the one lead that I didn't want to lose. Where are you staying?
What? Nowhere. Here, perhaps.
I didn't want him to stay in my apartment. There was another solution. My neighbor is out of town for a few days. You could stay there.
Seriously?
That would be good.
You're gonna let a total stranger
Great.
stay at
Let's
your
go.
neighbor's apartment? How do you even... Seriously, I would not give a key to anybody who would do something like that. And we get another invalid texture crash. Which means now I'm going to have to launch the game again. Broken Sword 5. And why this happens is, well, honestly, it's kind of obvious why it happens, because the game is
Marquez's
programmed
story was
terribly.
very interesting.
Really,
But I
really
needed
bad
to
PC
corroborate
port
it.
for a
I wondered if the
company
gallery kept
that
ownership
made
records.
its small amount of fame on
And
PC.
while I didn't wholly trust him, this was...
We'll
Where are
skip
you-
this.
What?
I didn't... My neighbor...
I wouldn't want
That
a
would be
total
good.
stranger
Thank
living even next door to me.
Great. Let's go.
Usually in the game, if you get consistent crashes,
Adam said
Like
that he would
this,
leave
the-
his back key under the mat.
there's a danger that you're potentially never going to be able to progress in the game at all. So
My
she...
neighbor had left a key for me under the doormat. Which reminded me I hadn't watered his plants for a week.
She's a bad neighbor.
The key wasn't there. The gap was wide, but not wide enough for my fingers.
So here we have another example of something that almost certainly was a stretch goal puzzle, where we use the gum on the card to get the key.
Using the sticky chewing gum, I was able to fish out the key.
There's like no way this puzzle would have even been a challenge. You only have the phone and your press card for chewing gum. So the only way is if I had just forgotten I didn't have that I had an inventory altogether, and then tried to pixel hunt over this entire area. Which, while this is drawn nice, this is also very, very empty, which again makes us feel like a stretch goal added element that they didn't spend enough budget on. There should be something here. Plant in the hallway, a picture on the wall, something. And see, easily you could have cut out that whole section.
This will do.
Glad it's up to standard. I have to go out, monsieur. Ronnie had promised me the front page if I got an interview with the painting's owner. And here was a crazy Spaniard claiming to be just that. I needed to find out who had put the painting up for sale. Maybe there was more to find at the gallery.
An uncomfortable metro ride later.
Len was sitting outside the cafe. He looked dazed.
And we gotta start by having a conversation with him? Not yet. So we don't even get outside of our apartment. They just show a slight picture of it. And it doesn't... Let's see. Again, I'm guessing here we are just gonna have conversations. When they even bother to give Nico something to do, all she does is talk. Almost all she does. So if I wanted to leave by metro station, I can do that. And can I go through the gallery door with all the police tape on it?
I needed to get inside, but the door was locked. I wasn't going to get anywhere without some help.
That seems to be always the case. So we can talk to Lane and see what he has to say, I suppose. I guess we need him to open the door.
Hello, Monsieur Lane.
Ah, the delectable Nicole Collard, super sleuth. How may I be of service?
I was hoping I'd find you here.
Always available for a lovely lady such as yourself.
You know, it's pretty ridiculous since she's a journalist and should have the skills and should be good at investigating. It's rather silly that she does nearly none of the investigations in any of these games. She's so sidetracked, so pushed to the background. It's crazy.
I managed to get chewing gum stuck on my press card.
Honestly, I would just reboot this series.
That's what I thought.
Like, if I was a video game producer, I would call up Revolution Software, say, look, I know you've licensed this game before and you didn't have a good time, but let me have the title and I'll do something good with it. You don't have to do any work because frankly I don't like any of the work you've done. None of their games and their remasters of the 1 and 2 have been entertaining enough for me. And then I would totally have Nico be the main character and George would probably not even show up. Unless I could think of something to do with him that made sense and that was helpful. So let's see. Let's ask all the questions, I guess.
Henri's death. It must be so very hard for you.
Yes, I shall miss him deeply. We had such a very special relationship.
I
loss
most
is
definitely
so
wouldn't
hard to
use
endure,
this animation style,
Even for a
though.
man of such inner strength as myself.
Honestly, I'd probably have to just hire a new artist to redraw all the characters, because I'm not sure there's been a consistent artist drawing them. Well, we're in a weird position here, so let's exit this conversation
Thank you, Monsieur Lane.
and
At your
then
service,
come over here.
madame.
Do also have to admit, as we save here, it is proving very, very difficult to stay on task and play this game. For a really, really short game, a 10-hour game, you can see it was nearly 2.5 hours, well, so about 2 hours difference between playing the previous recording and this recording. And we jumped up 5% too. So at this rate, we are almost to 1/5 of the game done, and I feel like we're probably more than 1/5 of the way done in this game. We need to get a different location. We need to go somewhere besides Paris. I don't mind if everything always starts in Paris, but it's gonna require going somewhere and finding something and getting to that ancient thing. This has also been a consistent issue with the games, where the ancient part, the thing that you're chasing after, or whatever the malediction is going to reveal, doesn't show up or even become an element that you know about until late into the game. And I imagine that's going to be the same case here. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.